Fensmarken here, and welcome to a new type of video. For now, I'm calling it Improving WoW. Today, we're going to be talking about mounts, but to just introduce the series, it's basically me having ideas on what would make WoW a better game, and I'm going to make a video series of it. We're going to start out very small and easy with just mounts, because it's a minute change. It's not going to do much to gameplay. It's not really going to affect anything, but it is a little bit. It's just small and easy. I just want to see how this kind of is received, and just before I make any of the big ones, right? For now, we're doing mounts. So mounts in World of Warcraft, there's what, fucking 600 or 700 of them. I don't know how many there are. I have 255 and I don't collect them. So that's a lot of mounts. And what's the difference between the mounts? There used to be like a couple of differences in some of them, a few more. But however, lately they made this like system, the mount equipment. And basically what that does is it makes the mount even less special, but it is in order for you to be able to use your favorite mount everywhere. So there's like 6 of these or something, and everybody just uses the Water Strider, I think. Maybe I'm wrong, but it's because the thing is, it used to be, if you're new, this one, the Water Strider, used to be able to walk on water, and it was pretty much the only mount that could do it. There was the Crimson Water Strider that could do it, and there was the Azure Water Strider that could do it. And people didn't really like the Water Striders. Which, I mean, I can understand it. Like, they don't look that cool. Like, it looks a little bit stupid. Like, look at it. And the sound is a bit annoying. But this was the one you used for walking on water. Because it's the kind, like, it's a water strider. Yeah, it's a water skipper or whatever they're called in real life. It's a bug that fucking walks on water. Pretty cool. At least I think so. Now every mount walks on water because water shoes. Another thing, this thing didn't used to go on water, and it's a boat. It's a boat that doesn't float. It's even a flying boat that didn't work on water. Like, when you're on land, it hovers over land. But if you go on the water, if you don't have the water walking, it would just plummet in like this. And you'd be at this like speed, which makes sense if you're under. But if you were to say, if I can hit the sweet spot where it, before it goes up, here. It's a bit low, don't get me wrong. Why doesn't it just sail here? Ah, fuck. Like, why wouldn't... But even so, this should make sense without the fucking water mount. The water boots or whatever. Another thing in WoW is the water is criminally underused. Water has, like, what, 2 fucking different functions in WoW. One, main function, be in the way. That's the main function of the water. It's there to make sure you can't really get to the other end. That's it. And then you can fish from it. But you just use the coast for that. Isn't that a bit sad? If you've ever gone exploring on the seabed, there's actually quite a bit of work put into it. In my opinion, at least. Like, it's pretty in down there. I did it in Legion. In some areas, there's a lot. It's a lot going on down there, actually. Not like it's not like there's cities hidden down there, because then you'd hear about it. But there's fish floating around, and they've like decorated the seabed. Like, it's somewhere up here. There's a fucking, I think it's up here at least. There's a fucking bar underwater with some turtles and shit going at it or whatever. But with water being with water being so fucking underused, that also means that your fucking water mounts, the specific ones, the specific fucking... Did I just mount the fucking... Yeah. The specific ones made for water are just useless because look how slow they are. They're still super slow. This is not much faster than if you put a fucking regular mount down here. Why isn't this as fast as ground speed? Or faster yet? Like, honestly, I think this should be somewhere in between flying and ground speed. In my opinion, like swimming. Because some of these things swim fast. And another thing, this here, the dismounting when you jump up into the surface, that needs to stop. Why can't I just, like, look, if I don't have to jump up. Oh, I did. Here, if I'm in the surface, I can't even mount it. Why can't this sit in the surface? Here. This is fine. Ever so slightly up, I get dismounted. That doesn't make any sort of sense, in my opinion. So again, why are these water mounts so fucking useless? Comes down to WoW not using the water, but that is whatever. This is where I think this boat should be on water. Just flap these in, and you can have a really cool mount in water. But this is fine as well. Another thing that I want to add to these, not only do I want the fucking water mounts to be just better, right? Why can't I drop anchor and fish from this? Wouldn't that be cool? If I could just hit my fishing rod or like drop this anchor into the water. Now I can't fucking move around anymore with the boat, but I could move my character a little bit around in this and fish from it. Just throw out my fishing line. Same with the water strider. I should be able to sit here and fish. Even more so because it's a fucking reward from Nat Pagel. It would make sense that you could. Why can't I fish from this? Like, why can't I fish from my water mount? Same with the surf jelly, right? This thing's big enough. This fucking shit. This thing's big enough. I'm sitting there. I could fish from there. Why not? Just break the game? I don't think so. But would it be cool? Yeah, I think so. Just be able to sit there and fish. I know there are toys that make you be able to do that. Why can't you just do it from a mount? Same with the Crimson Tide Stallion or whatever. All the water mounts. I think you should be able to fish from them. Like, mounts, like the water strider and the boat where you could be on top. I think it makes sense. You can fish from it. Mounts like this basilisk, which very clearly can swim because it has the the finish thing between the fingers, which is made for swimming, right? But this doesn't, like, it does swim, but it's slow. Why doesn't this thrive in water? Or am I stupid? I feel like it's slow. I feel like the surf jelly was faster. But I might be wrong. It's at least faster on land, right? Yeah. I think fucking swim speed should be like this. Like turtles and like basilisks like this and boats and shit like that, I think should be able to swim. Or sail on water. And I think you should be able to sit on it and fish. Because why the fuck not? Same with the frogs from fucking Fragwa. They should be able to swim. And they should have, like, instead of like that constant speed that you just go with in WoW, the frog should be like whoosh, whoosh, like a frog would swim. Like these strokes where it's like, that would be cool. Shit like that, I want. Next thing we have is areas. Like the zones in WoW are vastly different, right? Zuldazar is like, it's mostly jungle, right? There's a city, there's jungle, there's a bit of coast. Then we go to fucking Nashmere, basically a swamp. This area is like fucking oil infected, but whatever. This is a swamp. This is a beach. This is kind of swampy. This is very swampy, if I remember correctly. And it's a swamp. In essence, it's a swamp, yeah. And then we have Vol'dun, It's a desert. And if we want to get even more, we have Northrend. Frozen tundra, right? That's basically what it is. Like, insanely cold. So why is it that my mount from like the Alabaster Hyena, right? It's basically, it's born, raised in a desert. It should fucking thrive in Voldoon, but I don't think it should be that happy in Ice Crown. So why doesn't this move like 5-10% faster in desert areas like Voldoon or Tanaris or whatever is a desert, whatever zones we'd call a desert, or maybe like deserts and prairies, right? Because hyenas are found on prairies as well, so maybe the barrens as well, yeah. Make it move 10%, 5 or 10% faster. Yet, if you put this in a jungle or a frozen area, just make it move 5% slower. Why not? Would that break anything? I don't think so. Would that make you change mounts? Yeah, it would. Would it force you to change mount? No, it wouldn't. Same with this. Like, this is a fucking mountain goat. Maybe as soon as you're in a mountain or something that like elevates, this moves faster. We have things like this. This is armored, yeah. So maybe it moves 5% slower, but you have like a 50% less chance to get dazed. That could be cool. This is a horse. This moves faster on fucking open areas, right? Open fields, like prairies and shit. Probably not deserts, but stuff like the barrens or like roads like this. Give it a movement speed buff. And a penalty when it's out of its element. So that you don't just use the same mount all the time. Because it's pretty. This one's found in like a foresty area. So maybe this one's faster in forests and jungles. Maybe it's the same with this. There's another one that has like an effect. Is it this one? No, it's the other one. Where's the other one? It's the Mana Saber, yeah? No, this one's called the Mana Saber as well. This one, Arcanist Mana Saber. This one, summoning this mount in Suramar City will also apply Masquerade. That's cool. That's, if you don't know what that is, when you went into Suramar? What's Surazar? Suramar, if you weren't masqueraded as a Nightborn, you just get attacked on sight. When Suramar first came out, that would basically mean you got killed unless you were a tank. Because there were so many fucking guards in there and everything would just swarm to you. So this one applies Masquerade when you mount it. The other one should as well, but I don't think it does. That's a cool effect. And it makes it so that you would use this in Suramar. Because it's the best option, right? Then you have like this one. It says Frostbore. Make it fucking move. Make it thrive in cold water, cold areas. There's no like heat or freezing or anything in WoW. There's no like things you have to worry about with your character or anything compared to the weather or anything. So you can't be like you have frost resistance or this has frost resistance, but just make it so that the way you could do it is rather than just have something move faster somewhere and slower somewhere else, maybe you could have things have areas could have detrimental effects, right? Like very hot areas, maybe your mount tires or whatever, like, and it can't move as fast, right? But if you ride on a fucking flaming pure blood firehawk, then it doesn't fucking care about the heat because it's on fire. So it thrives in the fucking volcanic areas, in the firelands, whatever. The easy way would be this thing moves faster where it's a volcano or a fire area, and it moves slower in Icebound. Icebound, like what's it called? Icebound. What the fuck is it called now? Ice Crown. Jesus. Ice Crown City, like Ice Crown, where snow moves faster where it's very hot, extremely hot, and slow where it's extremely cold. And if it's a desert, this one's just at normal speed because it's fine in a desert. I feel like there is so much wasted opportunity because they have all of these different mounts and they're just the same mount. They make no difference. The only thing we used to have the Water Strider be fucking. Now there's the Sky Golem. This lets you pick up herbs without being dismounted. Now, why there isn't one for mining, I don't know. And maybe there is, and I'm stupid. But this makes it so that's cool. It's an effect, right? Like, if you are herbing and for some reason not a druid, then this makes sense, yeah? Then you have the one that applies the masquerade. That's a very small thing, but it is a thing. And then you have the vendor mounts, and that's like there's the transmog mount, this one, the yak, where it has a repair and a transmogger and a vendor, right? Then there's the one that's just repair and a vendor, and then there's the auction house. This is kind of the same. It's a vendor mount. But those are essentially the only fucking effects your mount has. Yeah, obviously there's the water mounts. They swim faster, yeah. Not really, but they do. But they're still slow. I think they should be as fast as ground speed at least. There's no reason to use them ever. I haven't come across it. But it would be so cool if here we have a desert mount. It's faster in the desert. It's slower where it's cold. It's slower maybe in jungles or whatever. We have a mountain mount. It's faster in the mountains. Doesn't necessarily have to be slower anywhere else. Just it's faster in mountains. This one, it's very Pandaria themed, right? Well, this could just be faster in Pandaria. We have an armored one. Get dazed less. There's a bear. I'm not completely sure where bears thrive, but where you find this is kind of in a forest. And as far as I know of, a lot of bears is kind of like foresty, mountainy areas with little lakes and streams, right? So areas like that, high mountain, I think is pretty good for bears. So like areas like that, they should be able to swim. But Bruce probably shouldn't because Bruce has armor on it. But maybe this armor is light enough for him to swim. I don't know. That doesn't matter either. But this is on fire. Probably doesn't do so well in water. You should probably dismount if you hit water. And if it's extremely cold, this probably doesn't do as well as what either. Like make it faster in volcanoes and the fire lanes. This is a Zuldazar mount, right? Have a benefit when I'm in Zuldazar. Or Desara lore specifically. Maybe if I run, like, this is kind of like a royal mount, yeah? So maybe when I ride through Desara lore, they throw gold at me. Maybe I could get like 10 gold from running from the port up to like where, I was about to say King Rastakhan, but spoilers, he's dead. Where fucking Princess Telangi is. Maybe I get 10 gold on the way if I ride that mount. Do we get like a little benefit, right? Little cool effects that just makes like this could give like a this has drums on it, right? So it's like a Kodo, like in fucking Warcraft 3 where the orc sat there and banged the drums and it gave everybody commanding aura, whatever it was, like fucking mini bloodlust. This could be a mini bloodlust. Just give everybody 5% haste that is close to this mount. As soon as you fight, you go off it, so it's useless for you. But if you walk through anywhere, and obviously it doesn't work in dungeons and raids, obviously, but just like outside, you come buy a fucking rare mob. and you're on this dungeon, and whoever's fighting that mob, because you're banging the drums, they get a small little boost. That's cool. Like, you'd never have anybody sitting on the mount, just close to it, because they'd always do more damage just jumping off it. But still, you just run through on this, you could give your comrades a bonus. That would be cool. Illidar Fellstalker, well, that's pretty easy. Wherever fucking fell magic blights, or like pollutes the ground, like the area, and on Argus. This one is a bit interesting as well. Like, it's huge, same as the like mounts this size. Now this one's a bit bad because it doesn't have any bags or anything, but I think to some extent you could work around that. But like, this one's so massive, and the same with this one and the fucking auction house mount especially with these huge mounts. I think a lot of the time it would make sense that you could say, like, this increases your carry capacity, right? And I know that there isn't any weight limit in WoW as there is in fucking Skyrim and shit. But maybe this, like, doubles your bag space when you're on it. And then when you get off it, like, this extra bag space remains for, like, 5-10 minutes or whatever. And then once that buff you get disappears, then your items are essentially deleted. Just so it doesn't break anything, right? But just so that if you are out farming something, like you do your Mechagon run, there'd be before flying, there'd be a benefit to using one of these huge ass mounts if you ran out of bag space, because that way you just had to do a trip and come back, and then you could, like, because not everybody has the vendor, and I realized that I said one of them should be the vendor, whatever. And sometimes you pick up a lot of greens, for instance. Like, I've been doing free hope boosting with Sovi a lot, and there's a lot of greens that drop in there. And fact is, I don't have enough available bag slots to pick up all the fucking cloth and green items along the way. But if I mounted on that one every time, then I could, like, pick up a lot more and just make one trip out and sort it all out in the bank and the mail and shit, instead of having to run back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. I think that would be cool. And obviously it shouldn't be permanent, because that would be stupid. But, like, just if you're farming a dungeon or whatever and you can mount in the dungeon, it would be a nice addition, right? Instead of you having to empty out your bags and go back and forward all the time. This, I think that would be very useful. And there's obviously a risk you lose your shit. But, I mean, there has to be some sort of way to balance it. And this might be one of the little bit more crazy ones. Like, I think the one that should be easily obtainable is the fishing one, right? Have the swimming mounts actually work at the surface and be able to jump out of the water. That should just be a thing. I don't understand why not. But also being able to, like, fish from actually water mounts. I don't know. That should be just a thing, in my opinion. And it doesn't do really anything for the game. A little bit more is picking the mount for the area, right? Because if people only have one mount, then they won't get that benefit. But almost every new zone comes with a mount at the moment, at least in my... That's how it's been since Legion, at least. And there are a lot of mounts for the zones in Warlords of Draenor, and there are a lot of mounts for the zones of Pandaria. So it should be feasible to obtain a mount fitting for the expansion, right? Or one or two, whatever. And you can always... I'm not saying that every mount needs, like, an area or anything. There should be some that are just, like, flat. This is just gonna be the best. Like, not the best. This is just gonna be 100% everywhere. No problem. You just ride this if you don't want to bother with it. But I think it would be cool if there was a reason to actually use different mounts. Like, oh, I'm going to Vol'dun today. Better bring out my fucking hyena. Why not? Or I'm going to fucking Ice Crown. Better bring out my fucking glacial tide element or whatever it's called. Jaina mount, because it's freezing. This one, as well, I have a cool idea with, I think, in my opinion. It's an albatross, right? A fishing bird. So, why not have it so that if there is a puddle... Let's see if we can find one real quick. I'm just going to look for it. If there is like a... What are they called? They're like a fishing node, right? Like an area where there's an increased amount of fish. Why are there none here? Like, am I just stupid for going this way? But like, if there were a fishing node, this is a fishing bird. Maybe you could just like fly over the node, and then whenever come on, there, and you just did this, whoops, and it picked up the first fish for you. Like, just down here and hit it. Like, look, it even does the animation as if it does something, right? Oh, wait. Wait. There, kinda. That kinda looks like it picks up something, right? If you just hit the water and go up. Right? Even if you just hit it, there it was. That was not what I meant. That was not what I wanted. Oh. But that would be really cool in my opinion, if it just hit the fucking thing like that, and you'd pick up the first fish. And just have it be like a 2, 3, 5 minute cooldown. 2-minute cooldown. Just have it be a 2-minute cooldown, right? So that you can't just like swoop, 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 and then just go further. So you don't like completely ruin the fishing experience, right? Just like, it'll still be faster to just fish the node than to be sitting on the mount and just go whoop, whoop, whoop. And you can't just go like zip, zip, zip and go back. And just have it be like a 2-minute cooldown. So that you still have to get off and fish the last 2, 3, 4 fishes, however many it is. But I think that would be really cool. Like if it could do that, just like give fish. I think that would be cool. That would be a cool ability, and I don't think it would take too much to actually implement. So yeah, like small things like this. I'm not gonna go too much more into details. There's a lot of things, like this should obviously be faster in fucking Stormheim, and this should be better in Nazjatar, right? For some reason. Maybe this could have that the other Snapdragons doesn't attack you if you're riding this. Could be useful if you're doing a quest that doesn't involve killing Snapdragons in an area where there's a lot of Snapdragons. Like, these Legion mounts should be faster on Argus, or better at least. On Argus. I think the whole idea with having things that are armored have less chance to get you dazed. And I really like the idea of dividing WoW into zones based on their territory, based on their like environment or whatever, and have the mounts function accordingly. So if they thrive in this sort of environment, they'd be faster, or they'd be getting some sort of benefit. Like for instance the fucking, and also like what I said about the fucking Zandalari mounts, right? That if you're in the Zahara lore, where they are bred, born, raised, lived, and they are a royal mount. Like, not only I think it would be cool if they threw a bit of gold at you, like the gods and the fucking peasants and whatever, like just tribute or whatever. But also just, it should just move faster, right? Because it knows the area, like it's used to running there. I think that would be ideal. And then I don't mind there being a fucking, like with all the items they're making now, there's a benefit and there's a deficit. Like you get this, but this happens to you sometimes. Like the fact that this guy moves faster near volcanoes means he moves slower near ice. That makes sense to me. And I think it would be really cool if we had more little things like this. And obviously, like the starter mounts, right? Like this doesn't necessarily have to have anything. I think it would be cool if there was some sort of like this moves faster on blighted ground, right? And on like just normal ground, it's just fine. And it moves slower, or maybe you get dismounted if you enter holy ground. Now that would be cool as well. Like if there were holy ground, blighted ground, and this shit, stuff like this. Also, this thing needs to be able to swim. It's a fucking eel. This should swim. That's not this. This should swim. Why doesn't this swim? It's an eel. Stuff like that. Like mounts that make sense, can swim, should fucking swim. This one, I think, should be like, it is a mana ray, but you can argue that it's not a mana. Like, you could argue that it's not just a ray, but whatever. That one's up for debate. But these, like, I think it would be cool if these were like for jungle. But I understand there's a need to just have some mounts that are just like, this just fucking moves at 100% everywhere. But like, having this move faster, where it's dark, where it's void infected, right? That would be cool in my opinion. Another thing, bats. That's a whole new like subcategory of mounts as well. There's like 5 or something, 6 of them or something. It would be really cool, in my opinion, if WoW implemented like day and night. So depending on the server time, it would be day or night. And during the night, bats were more effective because they are nocturnal. Bats, owls, whatever you may think of, I think they should move faster during the night. But that's not a thing, and that is... There's the sun. That is probably a pretty big undertaking for the WoW team, because I don't actually think that the sun ever moves, but it would be cool if the sun travels depending on the time, and it sets and there's dark, we have a moon maybe, and different mounts like the twilight mounts, the fucking shadow mounts, whatever, they could be better during the night and not so good during the day. And then you could have like a light-based mount be not so good during the night, right? In my opinion. We have like mounts like the Fell Steel Annihilator. Obviously, this is criminal that it doesn't do anything special on Argus. I have not heard of it, at least. If it does, then I'm sorry. But like, this needs some sort of benefit to be on Argus. I've never seen a mount more fucking Argus than this, even though it's not from Legion. I had one more. Oh yeah, the crab mount. I don't have it, unfortunately. So if it does this, then I apologize. I want this thing to walk on the seabed. Like if you go down to the bottom of the fucking sea and you mount up on that crab, I want it to fucking scuttle across the seabed or seafloor, whatever you want to call it. That is cool. That would be cool. Like this one. Like this bad boy. I want it to do like that. Like this little part. Move. Yeah, like this. Just sideways. Now that would be amazing. I don't know why it's kicking up a dust cloud like that, but that would be cool. Why does it kick up a dust cloud up in the grass, but not down in the fucking sand? Whatever. I want it to walk on the seabed. Shit like that I want. That would be cool in my opinion. But unfortunately, right now, mounts are just cosmetics, and they could be more, and I think they should be. Like, I want to sit on my fucking Flying Dutchman of Cthulhu nest and fish. I want to sit here and fish. That would be cool, and it wouldn't break anything. I understand that some of my ideas might be breaking something, like fucking the movement speed increase. One of them I wanted to give a little 5% haste to buff to all of the that would be so cool riding around that thing that just and then you just see people around you just grow a little bit bigger, just stab. That would be cool. Maybe even a full blood, but no, because if it's a full bloodlust, then you'd have people sitting on mounts in like group content. That we don't want. It's just a small one. Mainly visual as well, just to like see that your mount has an effect. I think that would be really cool. And it's not like it's gonna change anything really. It's just gonna make it cool. But also just thinking about your mount choice. Like if I'm gonna be fucking hoarding shit tons of things, then I want a bigger mount, so I have increased carry capacity. I have this temporary fucking storage in my mount. If I'm gonna be going to Fell Land, I wanna fucking use a Fell mount, Fell themed mount, because I'll be moving faster. If I go to a jungle, I'll pick a jungle theme because I'll move faster. If I go to fucking the water, I want a reason to use my water mounts, not just fly over it. And just please do something with the water, but that's a separate topic. If I run through a shit ton of fucking mobs, maybe this thing moves 5% slower because it's weighed down by armor. That would be cool, but you don't get dazed. So you can just run through all the mobs. I would like shit like this. Rather than just, which one's prettiest? These were my thoughts. I hope you enjoyed them. And let me know what you think about this type of video, because I do have quite a lot of ideas, and I do plan on making a decent amount of fucking videos about this, if it gets any sort of traction at least. If it's not something you guys want to watch, then there's no reason for me to make them. But I hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you next one. Bye guys.